My friend Lefty's asking us about us. Don't embarrass me, baby.
I wouldn't do that to you. You know that, Joe.
Because if you do, I'm just gonna whack you out.
That's not good.
All right, you go back to your man.
Say with respect to defendant John Gotti, guilty or not guilty?
We find him not guilty.
Must we say goodbye each time we part? My heart wants to die. Darling, hear my prayer. Can't believe fair. I'll be your love.
Hi, Mom. What do you think? Look at my shoes. Aren't they great?
My God, you look like a gangster.
By 1931, Al Capone was at the top of his game. He had no real rivals anymore among Chicago's mobsters, and he continued to expand his empire in case prohibition was repealed. He took over labor unions, chauffeurs, plumbers, city workers, motion picture projectionists, soda pop peddlers, kosher poultry dealers. And he toyed with the idea of going into the dairy business because more people bought milk than booze. Besides, the markup was higher. Honest to God, he said, we've been in the wrong racket right along. Meanwhile, President Hoover remained determined to put America's most famous bootlegger behind bars, one way or another.
The income tax was a fairly new phenomenon, and a lot of people didn't understand it. And if you're a criminal and all your business, all of your income is illegally gained, it makes sense that you are not going to file a return and admit that you're taking in all this illegal income. And tell the government, basically, in case you hadn't noticed, I've been bootlegging for the past year, and here's how much I made. When the Supreme Court announced that, yes, illegal income is taxable, it was a great moment of confusion for all these criminals, and many of them went down and filed tax returns. Capone did not get around to filing, neither did his brother Ralph.
For 2 years, the government tried without success to build a case, any case, against Capone.
Welcome back to Under the Knife, on location. It probably won't surprise you to find out that I was a strange child, and I grew up to be an even stranger adult. I used to drag my grandmother from cemetery to cemetery in Chicago hunting ghosts, so I thought while I was here, I'd relive those days. That's my grandma driving her German sports car.
Mount Carmel Cemetery was consecrated in 1901. There are 250,000 remains at the site, and about 800 remains are interred here annually. The cemetery is most notable as the final resting place of numerous local organized crime figures from history.
The most famous resident here is the gangster Al Capone. Now you may be wondering what any of this has to do with medical history. Well, I have one word for you: syphilis.
Al Capone is the most notorious and violent old-school gangster ever to terrorize Chicago. At the height of his career during Prohibition, he and his gang were raking in more than $100 million
Meanwhile, President Putin remains determined to put America's most famous bootlegger behind bars, one way or another. The income tax is a wrong phenomenon. A lot of people didn't understand it. And if you're a criminal and all your business, all of your income is illegally gained, it makes sense that you're not going to file a return and admit that you're taking in all this illegal income.